Alright people, Benjamin here. So, 1998 LS400 seems to have a issue, and some other cars do too. Hopefully you can see me, it's dark in here. But this car has had a low idle problem forever. And it's 38 degrees outside, and obviously I'm not going to have the AC on. Normally this car idles at about 100 or 2 less in park. Now, so in forward gear, normally you drop to, at this point, about 400 RPM. So I just did a little bit of work to it. Still in gear. Alright, I'm off. And my Taurus and other cars I have, they seem to idle right at a tick below 1,000, you know, when it's in park. So let's see what happens. Like I said, I went and drove for about 2 miles and stopped at a couple stoplights and stop signs and stuff, and I just stared at the RPM gauge, because normally I'll have to sit there when I go to work or wherever. I'm sitting there, I'm driving with 2 feet, one foot on the gas and 1 foot on the brake, because if car RPM drops to below 400, the transmission acts different, and there's a little bit of lag, and there's a little bit and stuff like that. And there wasn't any of that. There was no lag. There was none of this business. And so I was starting to get really concerned that 400 RPM starting off is bad. I mean, the car should not do that. So anyway, let's do it one more time here with the same video. It's in gear. AC is not on. Look at that. That's about right where it should be. Let's take a look under the hood and I'll show you what I did. So something that I'm also kind of proud of, and I just replaced these the other day, is normally some of these cars, it doesn't do that anymore. The hood just doesn't rise up all nice and pretty like. So I replaced the strong arms. They were getting weak, and well, a couple weeks ago I had opened up the hood, and darn it, I had to sit there and hold it open while I did stuff. Which, okay, replaced the damn strong arms, and man, that was so nice. Anyway, so a couple of things that had to happen here. You see the red hoses there? Those are hoses that obviously got replaced. Imagine that, you know, when cars get old, when cars age, and just like anything else, hoses in there get bad. And personally, I think the red hoses kind of give it a nice touch. I don't race and none of that crap, but anyway, they're the silicone 350 degree hoses. This little hose here, that I learned has to do with the, whatever, the OBD pressure, and this little switch is a PWM thing, so that's the next thing I'm going to check. But at any rate, I read some videos, or I watched some videos and stated something, hey, this power steering sensor thing goes bad, and it needs to have something done to it, either replace the sensor or whatever. So in this case, I just bypassed it. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it, but I took that same red hose. Oh, by the way, here's the old hose. It's dried out, and it actually split. Let's see, where did it split at? The other side here. Yeah, see that? Look at that, split. So if it split that easy when I was just taking it off, and it was still warm, okay, there's something definitely wrong with it. In any event, I took some of that red hose, I just jumpered that thing. So eventually I'm going to put that plug or whatever in it, because that's not going to be a permanent fix. The other thing was these boxes. I don't know what this little goofy contraption box is, but person who got it before me, they had broke this piece off, they had broke that piece off. And so, you know, this is vacuum operated stuff. It needs to have airtight connections. So I put a little bit of Gookus on there, that sealing crap. Put that on there, fix that, replace the hose. And then the other hose, so essentially that little switch on the power steering pump, whatever it does, this air, it connects to this hose right here, went down to one side of the valve, and then the other side of the valve, it went to here. So all I did was I bypassed, like I said, I just circled itself back to the power steering pump, and then this hose just goes under, over and around, and back up to here. The other thing is, and I need to replace this, is there's a rubber gasket right here at your air inlet. You got to remember, this mass airflow sensor that's in here needs to accurately measure how much air is being sucked in that engine. And if there's so much as an air leak right here, this thing's not properly measuring stuff, so it's not going to put in enough fuel, or it's going to put in too little, put in too much. In either case, it's just going to run like shit. So I noticed that tonight, and I put my finger in it and had to pull it up to make sure it was sealed. And then the other thing, and I never did this, I always looked at it and said, okay, the OBD2, or the mass airflow sensor is clean. But I took it out, and I cleaned the mass airflow sensor with some electronics cleaner. So if you're going to clean it, I've seen some guys put screwdrivers and stuff in there. I wouldn't do that unless you're brave and prepared to buy another one in the event that it is not the problem. But I just used some shit from Walmart, some CRC QD electronic cleaner. You need to make sure, because that mass airflow sensor does have plastic on it, it needs to be plastic safe. Must absolutely be plastic safe. Now, the reason why you want to clean that thing, if you highly suspect anything, low gas mileage, whatever, on any case on any car, is that thing does get dirty over time, and little sensor wires, they get fouled up and get shit on it, and that right there gets all the grease and junk off it. So I'm very excited to see that. That's the first time since I've owned the car that it's actually idled properly. Now, this was just done, so, you know, a couple 100 miles, we'll see. Maybe that'll be part 2. But anyway, I'm excited. We'll see.